What is going on, everyone? Welcome back into another live edition of the Patriots Beat Podcast here on the CLNS Media Network, presented by our wonderful friends over at Prize Picks. It's Brian Hines, back as always with Alex Barth, off another New England Patriots victory. Barth, that is 7 in a row as they go down to a hot, humid Tampa Bay, and they beat a good Bucs team 28-23. And where you at? Like, putting the schedule talk away. I know the Bucs are a little banged up, Barth, but that was a good win for the New England Patriots to go down there against a good Bucs team. Still.
That was a great win for the New England Patriots. Look, Tampa was banged up. The Patriots were banged up too. Look, I said this last week, so I'm just gonna pay due on it. I said if the Patriots could go down and beat Tampa, I'd put them. I'd say that like we can start having a real conversation about them making a run in the playoffs and potentially representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. How many teams, having seen that and the way they handled that game, how many teams in the AFC can you right now, Brian, definitively say are better than the Patriots?
Oh, man. Not many. I mean, maybe just Kansas City still because, it's Patrick Mahomes and they have that, kind of history and they've earned that at this point. But outside of that,
yeah.
I mean, neither of us are Bo Nix guys, so we're not putting the Broncos up there.
Oh, that team is beyond fraudulent.
Yeah, and then it's whether you believe in if Daniel Jones can just keep doing this with the Colts.
So. Right, whatever you want to call the Colts. Well, it was funny. I was, everybody was blaying the Colts, and then suddenly the Colts came back, and then everybody was blaying the Falcons, and like it's the NFL, man. It's week to week, but look, and that's not to say the Patriots are definitively better than everybody. I think some of those are toss-ups. And it's going to come down to maybe an injury or two here or there, the conditions or home field or whatever. There really aren't that many teams, if any, that you can say are definitively better than the Patriots. And so if they get hot at the right time and get moving, yeah, maybe they win a couple of games in the postseason. So long way to go to get there. But we talked about it on the preview show. Tampa, and they're in the NFC, so it's not literally Tampa, but they are the kind of team that you're going to need to beat if you want to make a run in the playoffs. And not just the talent level. It's a veteran team that knows how to win, that has experience winning close games late. And the Patriots held them off. And they were able to win that game. So that's the takeaway. Is like, this isn't, I think we're past, oh yeah, it'd be fun if they made the playoffs. And now it's like, okay, what are they going to do in the playoffs? I think it is fair. And I know some people have already been there, and credit to you if you were early. And I'm not even somebody that was like downplaying the easy schedule. I just wanted to see it against a team like this, especially on the road, and a little bit of non-ideal setting with some rain there too. And it wasn't all perfect, but I wanted to see what it looked like against a team like Tampa. Now that I've seen it, like, yeah, I'm on board. This is it, when they get to the playoffs, like they're going to stack up against most of the teams they'd potentially face.
Mm-hmm. It was humid down here too, and a good Patriots crowd in Raymond James, good Pats crowd. They're traveling, they're excited as well. But yeah, I think both of us were kind of at the same point with the schedule. Like, okay, yeah, they're not playing these juggernaut teams, but they're beating them down. Like you should beat down bad teams, but it is just kind of reassuring to see it against, and I know again Tampa had some injuries and they're not at full force. Patriots had some injuries too, but it's kind of just reassuring to see this against a good team in those conditions, in that environment, and to beat them even when it kind of could have slipped away, right? Like Drake May throws that bad interception at the end of the game, and you're like, okay, like is this going to be Baker Mayfield driving down and having a big, scoring drive to win this game? But, the defense makes a big stop, and then Travion Henderson, has a big run there and kind of ice it. So the way they're winning games against some of these teams as well, it has been very encouraging. But speaking of Travion Henderson, Barth, it was the rookie show, a couple rookies, some big breakouts for them. We can start with Travion Henderson, 2 long explosive runs, right out of the second half to start the gate, and then the one to end and put the game on ice there. That's the guy we've been kind of waiting for this whole season. And I know it wasn't always pretty before the big runs and in between the big runs, but you see that home run speed. And if he can start breaking, even just one of those, they don't even have to be, touchdowns, like his first run of the game, which we nailed on Prize Picks, by the way, like a 16-yarder. If he just starts ripping some of those and, use that speed, like that's going to be big for this offense moving down the stretch.
Yeah, they need, what is this, a Patriots team with speed? Like you got to kind of recalibrate for it. No, look, that's the kind of player he's going to be. And I know some people have pointed to, like, not say he had a bad game, but he didn't do too much outside of he really almost broke a third one. It's really 3 runs. He was a shoestring tackle away from another one. But like, that's kind of the player he is. He's that big play threat. He's not the guy that's going to give body blows and just consistently grind for 4 or 5 yard carries. Like, that's supposed to be Ramondre Stevenson or Terrell Jennings, who got hurt in the game. So I don't think you want to lean on Henderson the way they had to in this game. I mean, if you have to here and there, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. It's not impossible, but you don't want that to be a 17 game a season thing. So talking to him today, he talked about how it kind of has helped, not just yesterday, but the last few games to get going and get some positive runs, really going back to Cleveland. And now that he's seen the field a little bit better, things have slowed down for him. When they get Jennings or Stevenson back and they start playing some of these weaker run defenses, I think they can maybe, they can manage it a little better, but that breakout ability is there, and he's now seen what it takes to do it. So really encouraging game for him. That is ultimately, and why is Kyle Williams too. Like we said this on the preview show, I don't need Kyle Williams to catch 5, 6, 7 passes in order to have a successful game. It's, can he give you 1, 2, 3 big plays a game? That's the way he's going to make an impact. So they had to lean on those guys, or Henderson a little more in a volume role. Kyle Williams played a volume role in terms of snaps. I think he played 38 snaps, didn't do much with them outside of the one play. It was a huge play. And so that's who you hope those guys will be. And you saw it in this game.
Yeah. Henderson, he only finished with 15 touches. So I think maybe that's where, we projected him a lot, but 51 snaps, 84% of the workload. That's not where you want him. So yeah, getting Ramondre Stevenson back would be big. We'll see with Terrell Jennings. I think I wasn't down there today. He was walking around seemingly okay in the locker room. It sounded like, so we'll see with Terrell Jennings. And he was running around on the sideline trying to come back, but ultimately didn't. So the running back depth is getting tested. So they would hopefully can spell Travion Henderson a little bit, but yeah, the impact he makes with those touches is big time. And then Kyle Williams, we've been waiting for that breakout. You can kind of feel it was coming. That big play's been building really since like Buffalo about a month ago. And just you see the speed again. Like they had the 3 fastest ball carriers in the NFL in week 10 with Travion, his 2 runs, and then Kyle Williams on that one. And then 4 and 5, Jameson Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs, who, there are some comps there with those speeds. So it was awesome to get, Kyle Williams going. I know he didn't do much with the other snaps, although he was good in the run game. I thought, like, for a smaller guy, he blocks his butt off as well. So if you need him kind of be in there and mix in with, Matt Collins, who also had a really good game for Booty, I think you're comfortable doing that. But, if they can just get those splash plays down the stretch from 2 young guys and they can build some confidence and momentum, that would be a big part of this offense moving forward. But elsewhere in that wide receiver room, I mean, just said Matt Collins, another great game. Like, he is very consistent. You can see why Drake Maye loves throwing to him. Big body, another big explosive down the field. And Steph Diggs, Barth, is just unbelievable. I know he doesn't light up the box score maybe every week, like 5 catches, 46 yards, but the touchdown was amazing. The acrobatic toe tap, and then he just, his route running ability is fun to watch, and you can see the chemistry really building with Drake Maye now that we're 10 weeks into this thing.
Yeah, that's growing. That element's growing, and this week probably helps. We'll see. Like, it's a short week, right? So they might keep going.
Speaking of Drake, what'd you think about him against this kind of Todd Bowles? He didn't blitz him much. There was a stat. I'll pull it up here. I think Nate Tice had it. That the Bucs dropped like 8 guys in coverage more times than they have since like 2022. So they didn't blitz him a lot. They still got a lot of pressure. He was under pressure over 40% of his dropbacks, but I thought he handled it pretty well. So what'd you think of Drake in this one?
He was really, when they did blitz and when they did pressure, he was really good. Look, I think in let's characterize this, right? I think he made one major mistake, and outside of that, he played a really good game. So that goes 2 different ways. Like, I thought he kept them in this game at times. Some of those 3rd down throws, the one to Mac Hollins over the middle, the deep one to Mac Hollins, throw to Pop, like high, although the deep one to Mac might not have been on 3rd down. But the pocket movement, the 3rd down throws, throwing against pressure, taking some hits. He showed tremendous toughness. Like, that's all great, and that's MVP level Drake Maye. You don't want to blow up a whole performance for one play. But that interception at the end is a massive mistake. You can't have that. That's the kind of play that loses you a football game. I'm probably not alone in thinking when that happened, like this is going to be it, especially against a Tampa team that's won so much, taking advantage of those opportunities. So, survive another down, kick the field goal, go up 8. And yeah, it's still a 1-score game, but you can't lose the game at that point. That's it. And I mean, there's nothing there. It's not like he's trying a window and there's nothing there. That ball's got to be in the third row. So that's a big mistake. That's the kind of mistake he was making last year. Can't have that. They've been rare this year, but they haven't been zero. He's now gotten picked off in consecutive games again, which isn't great. Outside of that, I thought he was excellent. Outside of that, I thought he played up to a high level. Shaky first drive in the rain. We can throw that in there as well. But those are, if we're talking about major mistakes, he really only made one major mistake in this game. But it's the kind of mistake that even when you look at the day as a whole, which I felt like was positive, that's going to kind of be a driving story from it, because in another game, that's probably going to cost you the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I was much more encouraged kind of watching it back today with his performance. I thought, we talked about this Tampa team, how they do come after you. And we thought, okay, maybe he's going to be taking off running a lot. Like I thought he was seeing the field pretty well. And he ran a couple times. He only got sacked once. We'll talk about the O-line, and it was a 1-yard loss. But I thought he was seeing the field well. There were some sprays in the rain early, but then he did kind of settle down and make his usual kind of high-level throws, like staring down the barrel a couple times. Like that one to Pop Douglas over the middle was a great throw. The one where I think it was Vita Vea in his face and 2 hands on the ball, which was huge. He rips it around and then hits Matt Collins. And obviously the big 54-yarder down the sideline there, which should have iced the game. But then comes the interception, which absolutely just can't happen. So I did think outside of that, which you can't take that play away because it happened and it was a big one. But I did think he was very good. But he makes mistakes, and again, they're overcoming it, which I think is really good. Like even if he's playing to his floor in some of these moments, and he's placed 3 really good pass defenses the last 3 weeks, they come out with 3 wins. So that's huge.
Look, I credit to the defense too for getting the stop after that interception. It's not exactly complimentary football, because the complimentary football implies both sides kind of made plays, but they're playing for each other and they're picking each other up. And we've seen this team and other teams in the past. You throw what should be a back-breaking pick like that, and the air comes out of the balloon, and suddenly it all starts to snowball on you. And the defense didn't let that happen. They came out, they got a relatively quick stop and got the ball back to the offense. And I think that next drive was the Henderson on. Yeah. So really good job by the defense there to pick Drake Maye up after he's picked them up a number of times this year.
Yeah. And I don't think we even mentioned that the Kyle Williams pass from Drake was unbelievable.
That's
as well.
A great pass. That's such a tight window.
But it was unbelievable. Yeah.
That throw is harder than it looks. It's a tight window, and you can't. So many of these young quarterbacks now come out, we could talk about 9 guys maybe that are having trouble with this, and they just want to throw 100 miles an hour every time. And you got to go to a certain club in the bag to make that throw, and you really can't deviate too much one way or the other. It reminded me, Brian, if you want to go in the way back machine here for a second, the throw Tom Brady made, the play itself, frankly, the throw Tom Brady made to Malcolm Mitchell against San Francisco in 2016, where it's kind of like a weird angle over the shoulder of the defender, and it perfectly allows the receiver to take off and get upfield and score. Yeah, same area of the field, kind of like David Andrews pointed this out on our podcast. They know, like kind of rainy day against a good NFC team. That was his 3 best throws on the day to me are probably the deep ball to Hollins, the one where he has to move around Vea on the 3rd down and gets Hollins over the middle, and then the one to Kyle Williams. The one over the middle to Pop is up there too. That's maybe there's a 3A, 3B in there, but the throw, I don't want to take anything away from Kyle Williams because he gone, but it's a high level throw too. It's a great throw.
Yeah, like the Bucs defender was right there, and again, like he had to change the arm angle too, and then change the club as well to kind of loft it in there because I think it was max protect, but Austin Hooper ended up on an edge rusher, so he was kind of getting die in that slow death, but it was an unbelievable throw from Drake, and then you just get it to Kyle Williams with all that green grass, and he's going to do the rest. So very, very impressive stuff there. But he also took a lot of big hits. I thought, again, he only got sacked once, but he was taking some hits in this one, Barth. So what do you think about the offensive line in pass pro specifically against that Bucs front?
I actually thought they were better than they've been the last few weeks. I mean, it wasn't great. Like you said, he took some hits. The ones he took hits on, I would say for the most part, were, again, cases where he's maybe holding the ball a little longer than he should. It wasn't perfect. This is still a work in progress, as we've kind of known was going to be the case for this team. They still have a way to go. They did a better job on the line games, and I didn't think he got, again, I didn't think it was the offensive line getting beat quite as much compared to what it's been in recent weeks, even if he maybe got hit a good amount.
I thought they did have some issues with stunts at times. Bradbury got beat on one. I think the left side, they got beat on one too. Drake did hold the ball. Like, I think his time to throw was 3.24 seconds. And some of that was because they were, running these longer downfield concepts. So, you just have to hold the ball by nature there. But that, led to some of those big hits. So I think cleaning up kind of the stunts, that'll be a big one. And then for the O-line going forward. But you kind of expected it, right? Like Garrett Bradbury versus Vita Vea. That's a tough matchup for an undersized Garrett Bradbury, and he got pushed around a couple times. He did do well, like, to, again, die some of those slow deaths, and I don't think he actually gave up a QB hit, but I think he was charged with 6 pressures, and Vita Vea got him 4 times. So there was definitely some pressure on Drake and some big hits, but they did well to limit the sack total, and Drake did help with that a little bit as well. But anything else offensively that I wanted to talk about the end of the first half sequence.
Yeah.
What'd you think of how that kind of unfolded to? Were you team intentional first down, kneel, QB sneak? I know Drake said he was trying to score, didn't really look like it. And then did you like the aggressive call to kind of go for it on 4th down, which ultimately worked well because they scored a touchdown? But where were you?
Look, it worked, right? Look, credit to them. That 7:16 off the clock is crazy. And to do that against that offense and get your defense a rest, the defense went about 40 minutes of real time without playing a snap. Like that's a great drive, just big picture. I don't love giving up a down against a defense like that down there, like that defensive front, Vita Vea. I don't love it, but I understand the idea behind it, and I think people are maybe looking at this too literally. I don't think they were like purposely holding for the last play of the half, and they had to get the clock all the way down to 0 and get it to 4th down, blah, 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 whatever. Right. No, I don't think that's the case. I think they wanted that one to get the clock under a minute. And, there's a huge difference. If you score on the first play, Bucs had used all their timeouts, but Baker's going to get the ball back with like 1:40. He can at least get you in field goal range there versus if it's under a minute, no timeouts, maybe getting a field goal range, but now you got to manage, get the clock stopped. There's going to have to be spikes in there. It's a lot harder. So I just think they wanted to take that minute off, and then they got stopped a couple times. Like Will Campbell was held on one of them. But yeah, I didn't hate the idea, or I didn't love the idea in theory, but they ultimately got it in. And what a catch by Stephon Diggs. Like some of it too, and Vrabel sort of said this after the game, when you have good players, you can get away with stuff like that. And it's a great throw and a great catch. So I'm not like entirely against it. It's like it puts more pressure on. It's one of those things where if it works, it's brilliant. If it doesn't, it's going to be a massive second guess, and it worked. So, there you go. And we can do the end of the second half too, the end of the game too, right? Travion Henderson going down, yes or no. They could have killed the clock, but you still have to snap the ball a couple more times, fumbles, whatever. They did create more situations where you're running more plays now. The defense is on the field. You have to recover an onside kick. Who knows what's going to happen? Guys can get hurt, things like that.
Kick a field goal in kind of a rainy, swampy stadium.
No, they wouldn't have had to kick the field goal. They could have run the clock
out. The Travion one? I thought they would have had to kick still.
At the end of the half. So, all right.
Oh, no, I meant at the end of the game.
At the end of the game, yeah.
They couldn't have taken it to 0, could they?
Yep. So, all right. I just had Felger and Maz just did this, and I tried to follow along, but Felger forgot a timeout. So, okay. Tampa calls their first timeout before that run.
Yes.
Travion Henderson scores with 131 to go. So let's call it 132. 132, one timeout. You kneel it down. Tampa calls a timeout. You're at 130. 130 minus 4 down. 130 minus 40, kneel down. Second down, kneel down is 50 seconds. So now you're at 50. You take a knee on third down. Yeah, there would have been like, wait.
It would have been like 6 seconds, maybe.
You do one of those things on fourth down. You have Drake may run around
and throw it out of bounds.
Yeah, something like that. And then Tampa gets a shot, I guess, with the touchdown to win it. Yeah, I that's one again where I think you can make an argument both ways. I like that Henderson had the wherewithal to know that going down was a possibility. And next time, maybe if the situation is a little different, he does need to go down. He does go down. So I'm not going to rip him or the coaching staff for it, but like interesting decisions from Mike Vrabel at the end of each half. Like this was a great in terms of talking about it, situational football. Oh, so good. I'll have to make up some dumb. And I was right, by the way. I still think I'm right on this, but we don't have to go to a ridiculous kneel it down on 4th and 10 down 1 kind of thing. Like there's more normal situational football to talk about here.
And they've been great at that really all year. And maybe a lot of that is stretch in the headset right up there in the booth, but they have been really good and really aggressive too. They went for a couple 4th downs in that one. So maybe it is some of the players, as Mike Vrabel said, didn't trust Ryan Tannehill, I guess, this much in Tennessee back in his days, but he has trust in Drake Maye in these guys. And then the end of the first half, like they've been so good too elsewhere this year in that middle 8, right? Like end of the first half, start the second half. They've got a ton of those double scores. It's not always touchdown like it was in Bucks, but they've been so good in there. And then I know you've been on like how good they've been kind of in the third quarter all year to kind of, carry that momentum through the third quarter. So just another great like double score there, get that execution. That's been 2 really good parts of their game this year so far.
Yeah, that's again, Vrabel and the staff have done a tremendous job in those situations and managing the clock and capitalizing on those double scores. And this is part, not to take too much of a victory lap, but this is part of the reason going back to January. I wanted a guy that could managing games matters. Knowing how the clock works matters, Evan Lazar. It does. And being able to handle this stuff, you can draw all the whoopsie-doo offensive plays you want. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be a good offensive mind, but you can have a good offensive mind as a good offensive coordinator, which, by the way, they do. This stuff is important for the head coach of your football team. This stuff matters. This stuff wins and loses you games. And Mike Vrabel and Stretch and all of them are doing it at a high level right now. 100%. And some of that is too, like, they have their finger on the pulse of this team. It's not always going to be the same in every situation. You got to know who your personnel is. You got to know what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what's going on within the game. How's the game trending? They're pressing the right button every time, I think, because they have their finger on the pulse.
100%. I can't believe we forgot to mention this earlier. Last thing I have on offense, Khyiris Tonga fullback. It's awesome.
8 snaps.
So fun. And I know, again, outside of the 2 long runs, like they did not run the football well. A third of their runs were stuffed. I think they were last in the league in success rate on the ground this week. But Khyiris Tonga to just flip to fullback a couple weeks ago and get thrown in there. He's awesome at like cleaning up the loose trash and just taking the first color that comes to him on the opposing team and just blowing guys up at the fullback role. So he has been awesome just to watch in that role.
It'll be interesting what they do this week, right? Short week, less time for recovery. Where's Christian Barmore at? Like if Barmore's out, does that mean Tonga has to play more on defense? Does that mean we see him less on offense? They've talked about wanting to manage guys' workloads. So that's going to be an interesting little storyline to watch this week. But like big picture, love that look. Want to see more of that. 8 to 10 snaps a game is probably about right. I don't think we need to see it any more than we did in that game. But he made an impact. Like that last run, he seals the edge, and there's one guy for Travion Henderson a beat. He gets hit a little bit. Good contact balance, steadies himself, and he's gone. So, yeah, I would like to see some more of that.
And they got to throw him a pass at some point. Maybe
it's a playoff thing.
Playoff wrinkle, absolutely. But it's got to happen. That would be so fun. So that's the
Khyiris Tonga is the whateverth player to score a point for the Patriots tweet is going to go crazy.
You got Kyle this week?
Just Kyle Williams this week. I actually, because it was so nuts and it was at the end of the quarter, I forgot to do it until after the game, so I apologize to Kyle Williams for that. But I did get it up. He is we're approaching the 400th player to score a touchdown for the Patriots.
What are we at?
Kyle Williams was 389. So
389.
Pending the defense going ridiculous, I don't think we're going to get 11 more this year. And this is just regular season. I don't do playoffs. I probably should, but I don't. Pending, something else. Maybe next year. We'll see how much roster turnover they have on offense next year. But they have a couple more guys, right? They have a couple more guys that can get there this year. Who,
like Westover?
Westover would be one.
It's getting slim. I was like, because Terrell Jennings scored.
Terrell Jennings
scored.
Mac Hollins scored. Kyle Williams scored. D'Ernest Johnson, maybe one of these running backs.
We'll see where their running back depth is Thursday night. D'Ernest Johnson touchdown. Westover, D'Ernest Johnson. Oh, Chisholm. If Chisholm gets
Chisholm's a good one. Yeah.
So maybe a next year thing. We get to 400 there. But
I know we have an ad read in here. After that, we do have a little bit of breaking Patriots news here.
All right, so stay tuned for that because we do have an ad read. We have to hear from our friends over at Prize Picks, and this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. And the hard-hitting football action is better with it. So whether the weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. I said we hit our Travion Henderson more than 3.5 yards on our first rush. Barth, we actually had a good week in total. We went 5 of 6 on our big lineup. So that was, of course, a payout for everyone who played along with us. And you can get back in on the action this week. Thursday night, Patriots-Jets, plenty of good offers in that one. Or you can extend to the rest of the league. Saquon Barkley, more or less than 1 rushing touchdown tonight on Monday Night Football is available. Or you can go to the other big guns, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, more or less than 2.5 passing touchdowns, more or less than 270 pass yards. Tons of options and tons of players to throw in your lineup there. So make sure you guys download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, all over on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. All right, what we got? What we got for news here?
The injury report is out for today. The Patriots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 players listed. 14 of them are limited. Austin Hooper did not participate with a concussion. So maybe
that was,
practice squad tight end comes up. When did Hooper get hit? I'm trying to remember that play.
So he wasn't available in the locker room after the game, but we didn't. So I'll have to go back and find it. There was one play where he kind of got thrown down to the ground and he was just like laying there. And then he got up and he finished the rest of the game. So I don't know maybe if it was something else after that, but we'll see with Austin Hooper there. So 14, it's piling up.
Yeah.
They've been healthy, but
it's a short week. This is the way it goes. Although so it doesn't say on here whether or not it's estimated. Let me look at the one on the
I believe it's projected.
Yeah, so I'm looking at I don't know which one you're looking at. I'm looking at the one from the email. Let me see if the one on the website, because usually it's projected when they do like a walkthrough. I'm not seeing that. I mean, it still could just be from the walkthrough.
So the Jets one on the website says the New York Jets held a walkthrough on Monday. Monday's report is an estimation of participation, but it doesn't say that in the Patriots section. So
I guess we'll see tomorrow. They have like a realish practice tomorrow. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Reese tweeted on their projected injury report, so maybe it is. But we'll get some more information tomorrow when they actually have a little bit more real practice. But back to Bucs, to this defense, Barth. They started slow again. Opening drive touchdown. Tampa marches right down the field, but then they kind of locked it down from there. So are we not concerned with the slow starts anymore if they're just going to keep playing really good defense after the first drive of the game?
Well, you know what? I mean, I've been saying, all right, everybody's saying it's projected, so I'm going to go with this projected. Sorry, I'm just catching up here. I've been saying that you can't do this against good teams, but they just did it against a good team. So I'm lost. Like, yeah, if you're gonna realistically, they only allowed 2 touchdowns in this game. That third one in garbage time, like throw that out. If they're gonna keep doing that, they're gonna be fine. Ideally they get over it, but I like the evidence is piling up that they can survive it. And whatever they're seeing on that first drive, they're making the adjustments and they're getting much better as the game goes on.
Yeah. The issue for me, the red zone defense is still not great. They went 2 of 3 in the red zone, and that doesn't count Abuka's touchdown, which came from the 21-yard line. And that also came on a coverage bust. What they've been sneaky, like busting a lot of coverages in the red zone, around the red zone the past couple weeks. And you saw that there. Gonzo carries the vertical, and Marcus Jones just eyes are in the wrong place, and it's a wide open touchdown. So those are the two things to me, like the red zone defense has been one of the worst in the league, and they struggled there again yesterday. And the coverage busts aren't helping in that area. Like that needs to get cleaned up. But yeah, if they can give up an opening drive touchdown and then not give up any points to even the good teams, like you take that.
Yeah, again, it's not ideal, but it's working. And at a certain point, do you just? I don't want to say you don't want to tweak it because you're not designing giving up an opening drive touchdown, but they're having success with it. Although some of it is like, again, it's working. They're playing a lot of off coverage.
Yeah.
They're playing a lot of off coverage, which when you have the guys you have on the outside in Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis is still kind of surprising to me.
That's another thing. Like they play a lot of off early downs, and they haven't been good like an early down defense because they're giving up a lot of those kind of free passes. But then they kind of buckle it down and they get up in those guys' faces on third down, and then they're a really good pass defense. So that's another one of those things. Like they've also done a good job of limiting the explosive plays because of that, probably playing more of that, off and having that cushion. So are you just living with that as well? And then on the third down, money downs, you're kind of buckling down. It's a little bend don't breaky, right? Would you say?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
it is, but like part of that too is you got to force turnovers, and they've gone 2 weeks now without forcing a turnover. So that's probably my big thing with the defense at this point is can they start forcing some more turnovers?
Mm-hmm. Also with the defense, just as we all predicted, Sean Tucker would be the first running back on the season to go over 50 rushing yards. Probably their worst. I know he had 53 on 9 carries, so just under 6 yards a clip.
Yeah.
So, but probably their worst performance against the run as an entire unit to date this season.
I will say though, ton of credit to the Bucs backs because there were multiple runs in that game, and Baker kind of did some of this too. They had the run blocked out, hemmed in, and whether it was an actual broken tackle or just running away from defenders, like they would cut back across and double back. And there were so many like hard-earned 2-yard runs in that game that you think 2-yard run, that's still a win for the defense. And ultimately it is, but probably should have been like a loss of 3 or 4. I think they only had 1 tackle for a loss on run plays in that game. The Patriots did. So, and some of this was Baker too in the pass rush. Like there's that one where Chason has him, loses him, and has to chase him all the way back down, across the other hash to get him. But the Bucs running backs really impressed me. Just their drive, their motor, and their play. And this is again going against a better team where there are plays that the last couple weeks have been losses, and now these backs. I think Sean Tucker's an underrated back, and Rashad White's a good player. These are plays that have been losses in recent weeks. And again, they're only going for 2 yards now, which isn't a lot, but that's a 6-yard difference. That adds up over the course of the game, and it changes things. Because even if it's a 2-yard run, right? 4-yard loss on first down, now it's 2nd and 14. They have to throw. You can pin your ears back, right? Well, if they get to 2nd and 8 or 2nd and 7 instead of 2nd and 14, now maybe they can run again. Now they're in 3rd and 4. Now there's a lot they can do. So I don't think that's necessarily a blueprint against the Patriots defense because you have to have special backs to do it. Now, if I'm the Jets with Breece Hall, I'm looking at that and seeing, all right, let's try to cut some runs back this week, be a little aggressive because the reason not every team does that is sometimes when you double back, now you're further back, and if you don't do it right, you're going to lose even more yards. If you have a guy like Breece and you're the Jets, you have nothing to lose, you might try that. But like big picture, that's not something I'm worried about teams doing to the Patriots game in and game out. But it was, I actually came away. The numbers aren't exactly, I mean, they combined for about 100 yards, but I was really impressed with Tampa Bay's running backs in this game. Really, really impressed.
Yeah. The Patriots league wide, week 10, they gave up the 4th most yards after contact on run plays. So
Okay,
to your point there, they were those Bucs running backs were fighting for extra yards. They also got beat on a couple jet sweeps as well for like that's been a thing that's kind of hurt them at times this year. The Bucs ran 2 of those, got first downs on both of those. So that's something that maybe teams will try to keep exploiting as well. But yeah, they'll have to bounce back the run defense, because I'm pretty sure the Jets only have Breece Hall on offense next on Thursday, because Garrett
Wilson. So that was the other thing. Garrett Wilson rolled out. The rest of the Jets injury report: Will McDonald, Harrison Phillips, Azari Thomas didn't practice. You're a big Azari Thomas guy in the draft, right?
Yeah, I liked him.
Khalil Herbert, Braden McGregor, Xavier Newman, limited. Kiko Maui Goa was a full participant, but coming out of concussion protocol.
All right. So stop Breece
Not many
Hall.
big names on there, but not many big names on the Jets. So.
On the Jets. Yeah. Stop Breece Hall Thursday night, and you should have a good chance to win that game right there. But Gonzo won't go against Garrett Wilson Thursday, but he had a lot of Emeka Egbuka. I think Egbuka got a lot of the zone and a lot of those off coverages you mentioned. But when Gonzo was kind of up in his face playing press man, like I thought he won that one-on-one pretty decisively.
I thought he did. Gonzo's kind of going, I don't know if it's Gonzo going as the defense goes, the defense going as Gonzo goes. It feels like the last few weeks he allows one big-ish play early in the game, and then he's locked down from there. Mm-hmm. That kind of feels like what he's been. Again, that's the defense as a whole. So Egbuka got him once early, really good route, and then I thought Gonzalez had him for there. Like you mentioned, the zone. Marcus Jones blows the coverage on the touchdown. There were a couple other times he got open in between, but Gonzalez, I thought, at the worst, it's a draw. That matchup is a draw.
Mm-hmm. And I thought for the second week in a row, too, the man coverage beyond Gonzalez was better, both schematically and execution wise. I know
still struggling against the tight ends. Though
against the tight ends,
K-Dot got him good.
The corners, Carlton Davis, the touchdown was competitive against Tez Johnson. I think he got beat one other time, but the ball didn't find them. But I thought he was pretty good coming back. Marcus Jones, good in man, but sometimes the eyes weren't always there in zone. He's kind of cooled off the last 2 weeks. But the tight ends, K-Dot and had a good game, nine catches for 82 yards on 12 targets. So still the tight ends coming to haunt them in man-to-man and in that pass game.
Yeah, they got to figure something else out for that. Although at this point, like, I don't know if they're going to get an answer. This deep in the season, if you have an answer, you usually find it. It's just going to be ways to survive that's maybe a weakness, and that's something we'll be talking about a lot this offseason, Brian.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Anything else defensive side of the football?
I think that's it.
I wanted to mention him a lot, but Corey Durden. I just want to.
Yeah, he's been that guy's motor is awesome.
He's unbelievable.
Just go.
So he had 3 more pressures yesterday. He played a little bit more snaps because Christian Barmore was in and out with that back injury, so maybe they'll need him even more going forward. But career high 3 pressures out of all interior defenders qualified, so it's not something that's completely skewed. He's second in the league in pass rush win rate. Like, he is having such a good season. And I think we talked a lot about this in draft, and a lot of it was maybe Terrell Williams, who isn't around in the projected role, but this is kind of what we would hope. Like, they could find some of these diamond in the roughs along the defensive line with Vrabel and this staff, and then you could just kind of see them blossom. And like, he got cut by a Giants team that just fired Brian Daboll and has 2 wins. Like, you think they don't need talent? I know their defensive line is really good, but like, to find these guys and just have them playing this good of football, like, I think that's promising from both the staff, big picture, and then like give Corey Durden a ton of credit, because again, the motor, the energy he plays with has been there since he arrived, and now you're kind of seeing the production match that, and that's been really encouraging on the defensive line.
Yeah, definitely.
So, they might need him depending on Barmore. So
he could play a bigger role this week.
100%. So last thing, we'll wrap up with special teams. Big onside kick recovery after they didn't get one a couple weeks ago. Steph Diggs, give him credit to that. Took a big hit in the process, but good hands to reel it in. But Barth, I thought outside of that, kind of a iffy special teams performance. Marcus Jones muffed the punt. A couple guys got beat on the second kick return, and Chisholm barely got past the 20. A couple penalties too. So I think there's some room for improvement overall in the special teams department.
Yeah, the only other plus play for me on special teams really was Del Pettis makes a hell of a tackle, covering a punt there late in the game. But yeah, a little sloppy at times. I didn't think they were terrible. especially not a great game. I think it's really Marcus Jones. Beyond that, I think they were fine. They have the nice tackle by Del Pettis, obviously recovering the onside kick. Besides that, it's just kind of they did what they needed to do, no more, no less, outside of Marcus Jones, who muffs a punt and slips. But I think Marcus Jones has earned one off game, and you don't question him too much.
We'll give him one. And he recovered it, which was...
And he recovered it, yeah.
Sneaky, impressive recovery, because that ball was kind of getting away from him. So good recovery. He took a shot in the process and had to go to the blue medical tent. But he was back, so Marcus Jones doesn't deserve too much. But all right. Anything else? Any closing thoughts?
The Bills lost. The Bills
Mike
lost
McDaniel.
to a lowly Dolphins team, and whatever's left of Mike McDaniel, and I'm sure they'll bitch and moan about having to play in the heat.
Mike McDaniel might be back. You see him go to the elbow room after. Do you see him go to the elbow room after the game?
He's not back.
Okay,
but no, that's so
help the Pats out.
And the reason I bring it up, not just to gloat about the Bills suffering, but they play what is going to be a pissed off Tampa team this week. So the Patriots, look, it's a divisional game. Well, you look at what just happened to the Bills, right? It's a divisional game. This one's on a short week. You got to take care of business against the Jets. Tampa's always played Buffalo tough. And this could be, you go back-to-back weeks, you extend this lead to 2 games. The Bills do still have, the Bills have a game in hand still, but you could those 2 games go the way I think they're going to go this week. Now home playoff game goes from it'd be cool to a real conversation. So 100%. You talk about a massive 4 days, 7 days for the playoff picture. This is it right here. And the Bills, they're going to have some other tough games down the stretch. They have one of the harder schedules remaining. Do they still have to play Philly?
They do.
Or did they play that game already?
I think that's week 17 or something. It's something late.
Is that what it is? Buffalo still has Tampa, Houston, Pittsburgh, the Bengals. And at that point, Burrow will be back, or he's not coming back this year, because that's outside of that 21-day activation window. We didn't touch on that. Joe Burrow returned to practice today, so there's a chance he plays against the Patriots in 2 weeks. Browns, then Eagles, then the Jets. So this is it's a Jets team the Patriots absolutely should beat. But these divisional games get weird sometimes.
Thursday night, especially.
Thursday night, but if you take care of business in this one, it could be a massive swing in a 7-day span for the Patriots.
Yeah, I know, because if you can go into that Buffalo game, which I know their offense hasn't been looking too hot. They lost Dalton Kincaid. They desperately need some speed in that offense. But if you can go into that game and have an extra game in hand, so even if they come in here and beat you, you still have a lead in that division, that would just be massive. So take care of business. Big stretch coming up here, as you said. We'll be back to preview that Thursday night game. I believe Wednesday is the current plan right now, but we will make sure to let you guys know. So make sure you're locked on to Patriots Press Pass, like and subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you know when we are going to go live. If you're on audio only, you can subscribe wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else. Subscribe there. We would greatly appreciate that as well. And also make sure you're following Barth on Twitter at RealAlexBarth. Head over to 98.5 The Sports Hub for all his Patriots coverage there. And you can follow me on Twitter at @IamBrianHines. And head over to patspulpit.com for our Patriots coverage online there as well. Thanks, everyone, for jumping on with us tonight. We will see you guys pretty quickly. It's Thursday night game, so we'll see you guys soon.